away from and feel like you can't? Do you wonder, how can I be free from these issues that have destroyed my life? Well, my friend, I have the answer. Bible Way Hibner Memorial Church of God in Christ presents Chain Breakers, this and every Sunday at 9 a.m. here on WHYL.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle.
It's time now for the Real Estate Radio Guy with real estate broker John Rainville. For the next hour, you'll learn everything about national real estate topics, trends, and news revolving around Central PA. It's sponsored by GSF Mortgage Corporation, EnviroQuest Inspections, and SearchHomesInPA.com. And now, here's the Real Estate Radio Guy, John Rainville.
Good morning. Wow. Hey, I'm glad all of you got up. I see a bunch of you popping onto our Facebook. Live feed today, and it's a little bit gloomy out there today, Kings. What do you think, buddy? This rain. I had to pick up Big Dog. He's still coming out in shorts and a t-shirt. Like it's summer.
It's horrible out, and one of our buddies was down in, I think, Delaware, and all but got flooded out.
He's stuck down there.
Is he still down there?
Yeah, the roads are flooded.
Oh, and I know my wife was not very happy because we originally had planned a little trip to New Hope for the weekend, and it is not even 90% chance rain. It's just 100% chance rain all through the day and night down there, and I think so for the most part here too. So New Hope, of course, is if anybody's ever been there, it's a great town to kind of walk around in, old-fashioned shops, restaurants, the whole nine yards. But if it's raining, you're not doing anything there.
Hershey was supposed to have a event today where they were blocking off the street, because I know a couple of our realtors, Ken Kern and his wife, were going to set up a booth for us. And I know today out in Harrisburg in the 1400 block of Derry, the Tri-County Action people have the multicultural fair going on today from about noon on. So hopefully the rain lets up there for them, because I know we're going to have Albie DeFrank and Barb Kaufman are going to be out there for us. They have a booth. I did get them a tent. I got them a tent just in case it rains, but I cannot guarantee it won't blow away, because Big Dog back there told me it's supposed to get windy.
Is it really?
It is. It's supposed to get windy.
I remember the last time we had a tent event was in the summer. Was it last summer, right, for Jubilee Day?
It did get windy in that, yeah.
And it was they were warning of tornado, and the winds popped up, and I think half of the vendors kind of took off, and everybody got in a panic and took the tent down and took off.
They panicked. Yeah, my investment went right down the drain. But we're going to be back there. We're going to be back at Jubilee Day, June 15th. In Mechanicsburg. We will have a booth there. I am going to cement the tent into the street, so it should all be good there, folks. Well, okay, so everything's we're just changing some mics around in here today.
We're having musical
we're
mics.
having some technical things,
and that's a good thing we got that on Facebook. Anybody watching?
Well, hey, I'm going to start off today with a little bit about the market, what's going on. We're going to call this the Search Homes in PA Market Update. Okay, SearchHomesInPA.com Market Update. And, I know there's some talk right now about whether or not there's a bubble in the market. And all indicators are there really isn't. We are seeing some appreciation a little bit faster than normal. And some things like that, but all indicators aren't. I don't know if you folks saw in the news about the Gallup poll was out, that real estate is still, the number one investment. I mean, it's still outperforming the stock market the last 4 years. I mean, it's over the last 4 years up 34%. The Dow's up 26%. So, I mean, compared to even gold's only up 18%.
Well, let's look at history for a quick second. When has real estate over the long haul never or been outperformed?
I don't know that it ever has. Long term. I mean, it's just been, a stellar investment, for the people. So, I mean, we're seeing that in the market. I want to talk a little bit about, the first-time buyers and something that we're seeing right now. They're spending a lot of money on the homes. They're not being able to find exactly what they want, so they're doing a lot of renovations. And nationwide right now, they're saying on average they're doing about a little over $33,000 in renovations to the new home when they buy. And people always say, we want to get the economy going. Folks, real estate drives the economy because if somebody buys a new home and they go out and they spend $33,000 doing upgrades to it. Trust me, that's, landscape people, carpet people, carpenters. That's just driving a lot of money through the Home Depot, Lowe's, you got it.
Even your local hardware store.
And, average nationwide 2016 for people buying a home and then upgrading it in that first year after, I'm really stunned. Over $60,000 is the average.
In the first year?
In the first year. In upgrades. But they're saying that's because people are not being able to find the exact home they want because of the tighter inventory. So they're buying things and they're putting in some major things that the house may have needed. The house was great, but it had a terrible kitchen.
That's a crazy number.
It is a crazy number. Now, how do you think most of that's being financed?
That's the question, because not everybody has $60,000 lying around.
Right. 91%'s in cash.
Apparently everybody has $60,000 lying around.
Yeah. The rest is either on credit cards or a home equity line of credit.
Wow.
And, yeah, here's a killer statistic. 47% run over budget.
Everybody runs over budget.
Right, because your wife tells you she needs something more done to the house.
Well, I mean, let's think about even when you build a house and you're having one built and you start from scratch. Oh, well, we'll keep it to this until you get into the granite countertops and the center island kitchen and 9-foot ceilings and the whole 9 yards, and before you know it, you're way over budget.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I think a lot of this comes from those those HGTV shows where they started coming out, and what was it? It was like a Jonathan and Jonathan show where one of them,
two brothers,
one of them was a realtor and one of them was a contractor, and they would go out and negotiate on, let's say, 5 homes.
Right.
And then they would narrow it down and say, okay, great, you're going to buy this home for $250,000. Oh, wait, hold on. They were all in Chicago. They were all for $1 million plus, and the wife was a teacher. So how they do that on the show, I don't know in Chicago. But in any event, where was I going with this? Oh, Jonathan and Jonathan. So they buy these homes for $250,000. And the next thing you know, you see $100,000 in renovations.
Right.
And everybody expects that. That's the kind of mentality people get when they're buying homes today. You're just not going to get that immediately when you buy a existing home, unless you do a new build.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. I don't know how many times over the last month in this market it's kind of crazy, which you already know, but inventory again.
Inventory. We're still just so tight on inventory.
So if you can't find the home you want,
you might as well sort of make one that's just about there the way you want it.
Yeah, you just got to find the neighborhood and what you're looking for.
Right.
So you're saying that 91%
cash
of all the renovations are cash.
Cash. So where's that coming from? Mom and dad? Well, it could be coming from mom and dad too. Mom and dad probably put it on their home equity line of credit. So now it's cash for the kids.
So now it makes a little bit more sense when you put it from that aspect, and I'm thinking, what are we missing out on here? Just to have it lying in a drawer somewhere and be like, just put an addition on, throw some, All
right, well, that's the searchhomesandpa.com real estate market update. What's GSF got to tell us about mortgages this week?
Well, it's a funny thing because at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of speculation on what this market was going to do. And, new president in office, everybody was afraid interest rates were going to skyrocket, and they did for a brief time. And then everything kind of settled all the way back down. And from week to week, we get a slight scare from market updates. And on Wednesday, the bond markets were just completely erratical. They were all over the map. And everybody, lock your rates. Oh, my God. And the next thing you know, over the next 2 days straight, it rebounded right back to where it was before at the beginning of the week. So, in all, I mean, it's kind of a bumpy ride. I don't know what's going to happen next week. Right now, it'll go up, settles back down. It goes up, settles back down. When is it going to take off and stay up? I don't know. But I will say this much. If you're thinking about buying a home, and this is basically the tip of the week for people that have an inkling that they want to buy a home, get pre-qualified early. And the reason I say that is because from week to week, it can literally change the type of home you can buy. Looking at these rates that go from even 4.25 to maybe, let's say they go up to 4.5, right?
Right.
If they go up to 4.5, that changes your payment just enough, and it depends on your price range. So your payment goes up just enough to where your debt-to-income ratio, which is one of the factors involved in applying for a mortgage and getting approved, might go above your limit. And that's how close it is. I've actually had quite a few this week where they're $10,000 away from the homes that they want, and I don't know if that's a mental block or the fact in those areas that's just what it is. You can't find a home in those price ranges. And I think 3 months ago, those homes were probably in that affordable range. And that's, I think, where the market's gone that quickly over the last 3 or 4 months because of the shortage.
What we're seeing on the realtor side, even if the home's been on the market for a while, that used to mean, hey, they probably have some negotiability. We're probably going to be able to get maybe 5 or 6% seller's help. For the buyer. Right now, the sellers are digging their heels in. I mean, if we get 3, we're fighting to get 3. So yeah, that cash is. I can see where that's going to impact somebody. Then now all of a sudden they've got to throw another 3% in.
Well, and I think we got lazy as far as an industry to automatically assume there was going to be a seller's assist in the purchase of a home.
That's true.
And closing costs, as with your transfer taxes and property taxes and the whole 9 yards, run about an average of 5% of your purchase price. So We're not just talking a couple $100 here. You're talking, anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 on your average home, depending on the area. Some places have a higher tax, sale,
right,
or tax value. And with that being said, I mean, it got to the point where, I can get a loan. I've got a couple $100 in my pocket. The seller's going to pay for my closing costs, and we've got all these programs and everything out there. And the short and skinny of it is we do have a lot of programs, and there are a lot of programs, which we're going to go over a few today.
Right.
But you need to get pre-qualified early because a lot of people are jumping and automatically assuming that they're ready to go. And literally, they might be a month or 2 away. It might be 3 months away. They might be 6 months away. And the problem is they get discouraged because they either don't have enough money or they need more money than they thought they do.
Right. A little pre-flight planning, folks, can really save you thousands of dollars. You're much better to know exactly what you need to do going in. So today's topic, our main meat and potatoes today for the topics is we're talking about programs for veterans and American heroes in general. So we sort of classify that as first responders, EMTs, firefighters, law enforcement, teachers. Teachers are on the front line.
They are.
Nurses. And there's some special programs out there. For example, some real estate brokerages participate in a program called HeroHomesource.com. And after today's show, I will get a link up on that on our site for you. And that's a charity where they help give money back to the veteran through the realtors. I mean, the realtors are actually discounting their commission, and then that's going back to the veteran, to use
and
for whatever they
that
want.
actually goes back towards everybody, not just veterans.
Correct.
So we'll call them heroes.
For the American heroes, and they can use that money for whatever they want: down payment, closing costs, a new dining room set, child's tuition.
And that actually comes back after the closing. Am
That's
I correct?
Well,
So
that's correct.
So you're getting your closing costs and everything done. You've got to have your money for the closing and your taxes and closing costs and your down payment, and then as an added bonus for purchasing the home through certain real estate companies that partake in this, like brokersrealty.com, you actually get money back after close. So you can utilize that for new home purchases.
Whatever
furniture, decorating, whatever the case.
That's right.
$60,000 in upgrades
towards your cash for your $60,000 in upgrades. But yeah, that particular program is open even to someone who works, for example, in the VA hospital, or it's not just teachers. They could be the secretary, or some other job title in the school district, and that qualifies in through that particular program. Just like if you go down to the sheriff's department, all the deputies qualify, all their support staff. Same thing at the VA hospital. All their support staff qualify for that. And we do it as a brokerage, as our way of giving back to the community. We like to support those people who protect us every day. But there are other programs out there. I know we're going to skip over more towards veterans. You and I were talking the other day about the Dream Makers program. Do you want to tell them a little bit about that? It's a very unusual program, and I'm going to guarantee you most of the realtors that are listening in today have never heard of it.
Dream Makers is actually a great program because most of the, we'll call them bond programs that are out there. And we had a show on the bond programs for Dauphin County and all the different counties.
Right.
And you got to apply. You got to jump through a bunch of hoops. It has to be where the lender themselves is approved with the county. And all of the underwriting staff has to have these bond programs approved to be able to be used for these mortgage companies.
But that Dream Makers has no
Dream Makers is nothing. You don't. It's basically a grant. It's a gift that says, look, you are either A, a veteran, B, active military, reserves, guard. Okay,
that's huge. Reserve or guard.
Reserves or guard is eligible for this. And it's nothing more than basically a nonprofit setup that says, look, this whole thing is set up to help you with your down payment and closing costs. So
it's a 2-1 match. Can you explain to them how that works?
It's a 2-to-1 match. So and the minimum is $500.
Okay.
So
I get $500. So what am I going to get?
You're going to get $1,000 back. So you'll have $1,500 total.
And I don't have to pay that back.
And no, you don't have to pay any of it back. So here's how this works. Traditionally, it actually kind of works better with either a 3% conventional loan or FHA loan, because there is a maximum LTV with the Dream Makers loan. You have to have a maximum LTV of 97%, which means that you need to put 3% down of the purchase price.
Okay.
So let's use simple math, $100,000. You need to put $3,000 down on the loan. Now, what does that mean? As a veteran or guard or reserves, I have $1,000 towards the down payment. Well, that $1,000 now gets matched twofold by Dream Makers.
Now I've got $3,000.
Now you've got $3,000, right? Which is 3% of a $100,000 loan.
So I can slip in.
So you slip into the 3% conventional loan or FHA.
Now, let me ask you this from a realtor's standpoint. Just like I was talking about earlier, where the sellers are sometimes reticent right now to give us 6% help, and we know 6% is usually what you need help to get a veteran in. Could they? I guess they could use that if we were tight, right? Let's say that the seller only wanted to give them 3%, 3% help? Would they be able to use that to help them come up with the extra money they needed down.
Yeah, see, what's beautiful about Dreammakers is it's over and above any other program, because it really is just a gift. It's like saying when you go into any mortgage product, you, in essence, if you've ever heard of gifts, you're allowed to pretty much get a gift from any direct family member. And we'll, for the most part, we'll call that as an even keel average, right?
Okay.
So dad or brother or sister, and they come in and say, look, I'm going to help you out to buy your first home. Here's $3,000, here's $5,000, whatever the case may be. And you go through a series of signing a gift letter, and they say, okay, we're giving you a gift. You don't have to pay it back. They're going to help you buy. Well, it's basically the same thing with Dreammakers. Dreammakers, in essence, becomes an entity that is acceptable as far as getting a gift for purchasing a home. So they're giving you this money. You don't have to pay it back. It just helps you qualify for more programs and for your down payment and or closing costs, which you might not normally have. So, you know, what we're finding here is because the seller's concession seems to be slipping a little bit, at least as far as the amounts that we're getting, we're going to have to start plugging the holes with different programs. And this program is by far one of the best ones out there for veterans and reserves and guard and active military, because there's hardly anything you have to do other than fill out an application and say, hey, I want this money.
So now I know that that's actually underwritten or sponsored by the Penn Fed Foundation, but
Right.
They can use any lender.
Any lender.
Any lender.
Any lender.
Any lender.
You basically,
that's
and again,
that's
this
key.
goes back to the mortgage tip. You have to get pre-qualified ahead of time and have that mortgage pre-approval letter or approval letter to hand in with your application to Dreammakers.
Because then we know that you're $1,000 short and you've got
Correct.
the $500.
Correct.
We can go ahead and make application to get the $1,000.
Right. Now, there are just a few small, caveats to that program. You can only make income has to be at 80% of whatever the median income is for the area.
Okay.
But, at the end of the day, most people that are applying for this or need this certainly going to fall within that
And
category.
unfortunately, we know almost any active duty is going to only be at 80% or less because of the way we just don't pay our servicemen enough.
Correct.
So
Correct.
So, guard members, reserve, active duty, veterans. If you're thinking about buying a home, now's the time to do it. Use your eligibility. If you're tight on money, that's one way to close the gap. So now, with that Dreammaker money, let's just say that I'm in Dauphin County in the Harrisburg area. Would I also be able to apply for the Dauphin County grant money?
You would, but you're going to have to check with your lender specifically for those.
Okay. So, potentially, a buyer
Potentially
could package up Penn Fed money, county or local grant money, rebate from the real estate company, and
Seller's help.
seller's help.
Any gift from family members. There's a number of sources that you can lump together. And, what we didn't talk about is a lot of different lenders also have incentives towards purchasing as well. So let's just say, for example, GSF Mortgage, PA Go Loan, is one of them that has some of those programs available. And what they do, instead of giving you a rebate towards the end, they actually help you towards the closing costs at the table. So
Explain that.
So any hero, and we're going to go with hero, meaning the teachers, it's the wide open range, teachers, cops, firefighters, nurses,
First
anybody on the
responders.
front line, right.
Okay.
And that goes with veterans too.
What about their staff?
It does not go with their staff.
All right. Okay. So just the actual main lines.
Correct.
Okay.
The main front lines, veterans. So veterans actually can bundle with that along with the other programs as well. So what happens is you've got a set amount of closing costs,
right.
And as a percentage, and it all goes based off of what the loan amount is. It's all based on percentages. So what happens is you end up with money towards your closing costs.
Really?
Yes. And
So it's not like we're just paying a fee for.
No. You'll get a credit at closing towards whatever the closing costs are. So theoretically, you could use it towards taxes. You could use it towards anything.
Right.
So you get a credit from the mortgage company for your closing costs.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. And on top of that, if you, as I said before, if you get pre-approved ahead of time, in the process of going out and trying to find a home, you cure two things. One, you may need to do one or two things. And you're sitting there and you're searching for homes, you fall in love with a home, and then you decide to get pre-qualified. Well, number one, most realtors are not going to work with you unless they know that you are qualified. But number two, when you get pre-qualified, for example, through GSF Mortgage, they'll also pay up to $600 for your appraisal if you get approved ahead of time.
Now, wait, is that included in that money
Nope,
that I'm getting?
That's on top of.
Wow. So I can get actually a percentage.
Yeah.
Some money towards my closing costs, plus I'm not going to pay.
Plus the appraisal gets paid for.
Wow.
Now, I think that depending on the area that you're in and the appraisers that are there, the companies that are available nationally, right. You may pay for it up front, but then you get reimbursed at the table for that.
Okay, so it's still money back in my pocket.
Correct. And that's on top of $600, folks, is a lot of money when it comes down to purchasing a home. I mean, it's not chump change. So you take your appraisal money, which is up we'll say up to $600, but it's actually any cost. So whatever your appraisal is, as long as you go through the pre-approval process, they'll pay for your appraisal. And the money that's credited back towards closing. So imagine, if you will, somebody that's a hero looking to purchase a home in central Pennsylvania, and they want to lump two services together. So, you strategically pick a mortgage company to work with that's going to offer you such benefits as, money back towards closing costs, helping pay for your appraisal, and then you want to lump in a Dream Makers grant, right? So we've got a Dream Makers grant on there. We've also got a seller's help towards closing costs, maybe a gift from a family member, maybe a bond program, which we've gone over some, Dauphin County.
It sounds like we're turning a profit now buying this house.
The funny thing is, you and I have discussed this, on our own terms, and it actually comes out to where you could literally go home with money in your pocket.
Wow. Now, I know the Dream Maker program is only for first-time home buyers.
Or if you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years or have lost it through divorce or maybe bankruptcy. We'll have to double check.
Yeah, I think, or if there's been a catastrophic event, I think that counts too. So I know Big Dog sitting back there, and he's wondering, can he cash in on this if he does a refi?
No.
No
refis, Big Dog. Sorry. And you don't get any bond programs or grants either from the county for refinancing. Sorry to say.
Hey, never hurts to ask.
No, that's true. Now, what you can do, however, is you can, as a veteran, still get some of the rebates that are involved for the real estate company if you want to buy a vacation home.
That's true.
And same goes for closing costs and or appraisal costs being covered through mortgage companies if you want to buy a vacation home.
I just see a question that just came in.
Or rental property.
They want to know if they can. Is there the VA program? Explain to them. It's not a one and done. You can use it over and over and over again.
Every eligible veteran. And the simple way to do it is to go to the VA website, and there's actually a link on there that you can click on to get what's called a certificate of eligibility. Okay? And that certificate of eligibility tells you that you're eligible for a VA loan.
Okay.
Some people are not. I mean,
depends on how they were discharged or how much service they had, whether they had any active duty.
So if you've only been in for 6 months,
you might not qualify.
You're probably not going to get a certificate of eligibility. But yes, it will tell you that. And on that certificate of eligibility, what most veterans or active military or even Guard of Reserves get is this little number, and it says your eligibility amount is XYZ. Most of the time, it's $36,000. Now, you're all out there thinking, well, what the heck am I supposed to buy on $36,000? Well, you're not going to buy anything for $36,000. What that is the VA guarantees 5 times that amount. Okay, so now I'm buying a home for $180,000, right?
Right.
That does not cap you as far as what your purchase price is. So the mortgage company at that point writes a loan, gives you a loan, and says, I'll give you a home. Let's say, for example, in York County, the county limit is $424,100 right now. Okay. We actually have one in the system like that. Purchase price $424,000. It's actually $449,000, and the VA will actually guarantee the mortgage company in the event of defaulting on your mortgage. Okay, we'll guarantee $180,000 of it. Well, the mortgage company takes the loss for the rest, but that doesn't stop you from getting a mortgage. It just gives you all the benefits of getting a VA loan, which there are a lot of.
Well, that's good to know. That's another reason to come in and get pre-approved ahead of time, because at that point in time, they can find out what the limits are in the counties and if that's going to come into play.
Right, and whether you qualify for Dream Makers, what sort of rebates you're going to get.
Any of the grant programs, if you have to, if you're going to use the Dream Makers program.
I would recommend doing at least 3 months before you're looking to purchase. And I know that's a tough thing to say.
Right.
Because if you're thinking about buying a home, and you and your significant other, maybe you're getting married, whatever the case may be, let's buy a home. Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go online and start searching for homes. You're going to get all geared up. You're going to get all happy. Hey, let's go see this one. Let's go see this one. You're going to go to an open house or two.
Right.
And you're going to fall in love with a house. And you just skip probably the biggest step in all of it.
Right, because you may be looking at a house you're never going to afford.
And yeah, that's certainly possibly true, because there are a lot of expenses in buying a home that most people don't realize with property taxes. And
I also see on the other side, I see a lot of times people under sort of value what they can actually afford. They think they can only afford a $150,000 mortgage. They sit down with you and all of a sudden they realize they could afford a $600,000 home if they chose to. But
if they chose to.
Right. But then they might find one for $190 or $210 that they love, and they know that they're comfortable with it, and they know they're not overspending.
Well, and here's the problem that I think a lot of our home buyers and heroes, in particular, are going to run into. In this market, these homes, a lot of these homes that are priced right, are not sitting there very long.
No.
So let's just say, for example, you actually get a realtor to show you a home without a pre-qualification. You go out and you look at this home. Maybe the realtor has a policy. I'll show you one. Then after that, I need to at least see, because they do invest their time, their gas, their money, their resources in trying to find you these properties. It's not simple, go on to Zillow and search. It's not quite that simple, folks. So you go out and you find a home, hypothetically, and you love this home. You haven't been qualified. You don't know whether you qualify for the mortgage. You don't know what the payment with the taxes and everything else is. And you want to put an offer on this home. Well, guess what? Let's put the brakes on for a second.
Right.
Now let's start this process. Meanwhile, the realtor gets a phone call and says, we've already got 2 offers that just came in today on this property. And you are now way back at the end of the line, and you might miss out on this home that you honestly think is your dream home, and that's it. You fell in love with it at first sight.
Right.
You're going to miss out on that home. There's a good chance you will.
It's all good. It's all good. But, you brought up a really good point there, because something I just thought of when you said about like Zillow. And a lot of people think now, because the information's out there so readily available, with all the company websites and all the individual websites out there with the Internet Data Exchange where they can search properties, they think that sometimes they've done the realtor's job because they found the house they're going to buy. And folks, the realtors bring a whole lot of value to the table. They're
here's the cool thing: you're not really paying for the realtor.
It's coming out of the seller's pocket at the end
right,
of the
but
day.
The buyer is not paying for a realtor.
But they have to pay the seller before the seller can pay them. So whose money is it? But anyway,
it's the buyer's money.
It's the buyer's money.
Technically speaking, well, it's actually the bank's money. But
That's right.
But the buyer's paying for it.
It's not cash they have to come up with.
Right. Well, it's not part of the $60,000, right?
Yeah, it's true.
You got to keep remembering. Everybody's got that. I just picture this brick of 20s that everybody has hiding in a shoebox under their bed at this point. But yeah, I mean, it is a professional service that is, covered through the transaction. And the problem is I think most people think that, even as a seller, if we don't have to pay the realtors, then we're going to be saving all this money. But
Yeah,
you
happen.
really end up costing yourself because, are you covering yourself with all the proper disclosures? The state disclosures that are required on a loan, and I'm sure most of them out there don't even know that there are some. And the one thing that you certainly miss out on with an experienced realtor is the negotiation.
That's true. I know so many realtors, not just here but across the country, and folks, they really are expert, not just negotiators, but problem solvers, because it is a complicated process. I mean, everyone thinks it's simple. You go out, you find the home, you write a contract, you buy it, you get the money from the bank and get the keys. And there's a whole lot of potholes that you can hit in between here and there. So you want to make sure that you pay attention and that you find a good realtor, and make sure you read what you're signing, know what you're signing, or trust them to paraphrase it for you. I know we're waiting for John Stas to be coming on the line here momentarily. What else anything else you want to add on this topic so far?
At the end of the day, if anybody gets anything from today's call, is that there's certainly a lot of benefits to our heroes, and for those listening, realtors, possible borrowers, first-time home buyers, maybe people that are looking to retire, buy a vacation home, or move. Just because you've owned a home in the past doesn't mean your benefits go away as a veteran. They're always there. You've always been a veteran. You've always served our country. If you're a teacher, look, we've seen some messed up kids in our lifetime. Thank you, God, for the teachers that are out there, the nurses, to put them back together. I mean, we have these programs for a reason.
Right.
Most people don't take advantage of them, and it really can add up to thousands of dollars. So really, please reach out. And we'll have some information on our Facebook page.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be posting some information up.
Real Estate Radio Guys, as far as some of the links to go to. Get pre-qualified. Do it ahead of time. Try to do it as your first line of defense, because a lot of these programs you may miss out on because you're jumping the gun and trying to rush through to get a process to get a house.
Well, Waldo's on the line.
Where is Waldo?
I don't know. John, where you at, buddy?
Good morning, guys.
How you doing?
Good.
Are you staying dry?
Yeah, I'm dry this morning.
Which
I'm
means
not out on the road.
Which means are you in Pennsylvania if you're dry?
He could be in Arizona for all we know.
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay, all right, that's a good start. I'm going to guess he's probably sitting there in his boxers drinking coffee.
So, John, I know today you want to talk a little bit about hiring veterans. What can you tell us? What your experience has been?
Sure. I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience as running a small business in this area, and the benefits of hiring our veterans. When you hire a veteran, you're getting somebody who's got invaluable training from Uncle Sam. Now, some of the things I've noticed over the years, when you hire a veteran, their training can directly relate to skills that you need for running your business. So here's just a few of the things. So veterans understand about teamwork. So in almost any branch of the military, they're taught both how to lead and how to follow, and the difference between the two, and when they should lead and when they should follow. So that's so important. Understanding the structure of command, understanding who's the boss, who I have to listen to, and respect for the hierarchy. They're just real, from what I found, they're just real team players, and they understand that structure of, working together as a team is stronger than anything that one person can do by themselves. Some other things, they understand the basic concepts. For my business, a service business, so the basic concept of a job, similar to like a mission. So you have the briefing, which is, okay, brief in the morning, okay, here's what we're going to do, the planning phase. Then you have the execution, going out and doing the job. And then the debrief, the feedback loop of, okay, how did everything go? Is there anything follow-up? So they understand that process. It's integral to the military training. And, that's so ingrained into our veterans, and they have such invaluable skills to your business. If you're a small business owner or any business owner that recognizes this, or what you're actually getting when you hire a veteran. So I have a little test for you guys. The military brings some acronyms, so I have an acronym to see if you guys know what it means.
Go ahead,
So
see if you stump us.
Okay. Okay, two is one and one is none. What do you think that means, guys?
Two is one and one is none. Well, I would think that means, teamwork, working together. And if they work separately, that's sort of counterproductive.
What it is basically for your tools. So you always bring an extra tool. So in case one breaks when you're on your mission.
Oh, so that's why we carry sidearms?
Well, just as it relates to business, you don't want your employees carrying sidearms to the customer's house, but for tools, like a drill or something that's essential to get the job done. So you always want to have a spare in case it breaks on the job.
Great, John. So out of the whole show today, what we're going to get is we're going to end up somewhere on the news
Nasty
channel.
Letters.
John said, "Bring your sidearm to work."
So, John, one of my experiences has been, because I end up hiring veterans too, has been that the veterans seem to have a better work ethic and ability to get the job done. Something I see some with, not to make a sweeping generalization, but with the millennials, a lot of times, they're the first to bail when a project gets tough, whereas, the service guys seem, and women seem to look at it and they know they have to cross that muddy field and they know their boot may come off, but that's the job, is to get to the other side of the field, and they're going to go. And it seems like some of the kids right now, they're like, I'm going to go back and put my SpongeBob slippers on.
Or start playing Sega. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many things that are ingrained into our military veterans, little things like, I noticed the same thing, not to rip on millennials, but, a military person understands, hey, 7:01 is late. It's not a little late. 6:59 is on time. They understand the basic structure and contents of things that are needed for your business.
Deadlines.
Presentation, how they look, their personal appearance, what to say, what not to say. They're taught to control, how they look, and presentation, things they say, what not to say. All these things are ingrained, by our military process of training.
Yeah, discipline. That's a very good.
Yeah, and then another thing, if you think about it, when you're in the military is basically a set of rules, right? You've got these guidelines, and it's your job. I mean, this is what you do. You get up at 5. You don't question it. You just do it. So
right.
What does a veteran get out of that experience in life? In my opinion, it gives you a set boundary and it says accomplish as much as you can within that boundary. So from a business aspect, here's your business, this is what you've got, now let's maximize what we can out of that. And that is the combination of discipline, years of just following the rules. You know what I mean? So coming out of that, it all comes down to discipline.
I see the veterans too is usually very open to more education and training, because when they were in the active duty, they were constantly honing their skills, and the military does offer a lot of different schooling opportunities, and it seems like most of them try to take advantage of that.
For sure.
And I don't see why you wouldn't.
No.
Little things like organization. I look in the truck. The military guy, he's got everything organized a little better usually, because they ingrain. They have inspection of their personal items and things in the military. So all of those things transfer. If you're a business owner, the training that Uncle Sam has given these guys is really going to. They're skills that are invaluable, and they can become invaluable to your business as well as a great asset for the training that these guys have.
Well, we have to agree with you, and we certainly, obviously, thank you for hiring veterans, and I hope that other businesses, locally, understand the benefit of it. People coming out of whatever branch of the military it may be do have a different skill set, if you will, than your standard schlub. I don't know what else
we're going to get nasty letters.
Well, I didn't narrow anybody out. I just said schlub.
Nasty emails.
So we went from millennials.
I'm seeing that little hate faces going across the screen.
Yeah, it kind of went downhill a little bit. But thanks for calling in and giving us definitely a different take on the benefits of having our veterans in the workforce.
John, back on the home inspection thing, what's your best contact number and your website again?
Contact number 717-233-6144, and our website evqharrisburg.com.
Thanks again, John. So anybody looking getting out of the military, everybody call John. That's your first phone call. Anybody that supports veterans and wants to get their home inspected, call John.
Hey, if anyone is seriously looking to hire anybody, go on to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/real estate radio guys, and put it up there. Because people do are on our page. And we'd love to help you promote a job opening if you have something. Anywhere in the country, put it on there, because our reach is just going further and further, right? Every week. We're seeing
it's all about networking.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It really is. All right. Thanks again, John.
Thanks, guys.
All right. At the end of the day, obviously, after speaking with John, there's a reason why we have these programs in place for our veterans and our heroes. Let's just make sure that we take advantage of them. And the best way to do that is to get pre-qualified ahead of time, right? Know what your programs that are available to you, and let's take advantage of them. And the other thing, too, before you actually go out and look at a home, have a game plan. Know that you need to do X, Y, Z in order to accomplish what you're trying to get. Because you may actually be able to qualify for more home by having some of these benefits available to you. So, for example, we didn't talk much about the actual VA loan itself.
Okay, let's touch on that a little bit.
Well, so the VA loan, you can put money down on a VA loan. You can put, the DreamWorks program into that and get your 3% down.
Right.
But what a VA loan gets, not only does it's easier to qualify. Some of the guidelines are a little bit more lax. Your credit scores can be a little bit lower than, your traditional conventional loans. A lot of times your debt-to-income ratio can be a little bit higher.
Because you have a 41% back end?
I've stretched that quite a bit.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Beyond 41?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit. That's not to say somebody that doesn't pay their bills and has a 500 credit score is going to be able to, get 60% debt to income ratio. But understand that there are guidelines. They want you to have only 30% of your total expense to be your home. I mean, that's a general guideline.
I think that's a good, comfortable number. But sometimes a young family needs to stretch that a little bit, or if they know their income's going to jump.
They do. And a lot of people may be coming out of college, getting their first job, and, they're very confident in themselves, obviously. Maybe they're getting married, maybe they're adding other income. They know they're going to be promoted at some point. A lot of things happen with new families. So we do stretch those, especially with compensating factors. But with a VA loan in particular, not only do you get the benefits of rebates back from real estate company, DreamWorks programs, a lot of different programs out there. But every loan, whether it's conventional, whether it's FHA, I should say every loan, those loans come with what's called this mortgage insurance. And mortgage insurance really is just insurance for the lender in the event of default.
And that really insures them for the difference between what you're putting down and 20%.
Correct.
Because if you put 20% down, no private mortgage insurance, right?
No. If you put 20% down on a conventional product, there's no mortgage insurance.
Okay, and so if I bought FHA because my credit's a little bit dinged and I still put the 20% down,
you still are going to have mortgage insurance. That changed within the last few years.
And like what we told them last week, that's forever.
That's forever.
Unless you refinance it out, you're
to a
going to be
conventional
stuck
loan.
with that.
Or a VA loan, for that matter. You could be in a conventional loan or an FHA loan product now and refinance to take advantage of your VA benefits. So for those of you out there that are Guard members, reserve members, veterans, active military, these are benefits that could be available to you. Take advantage of them. VA loan do not, back to the topic real quick, do not have mortgage insurance, which, as you and I both know, can be a couple $100 per month just for not having that 20% down on a loan. A couple $100 a month, folks, can mean the difference between a $150,000 home and a $180,000 home, just because of the mortgage insurance. It changes it that much. So if you're at the height of your debt to income ratio, and you've got this $50, $100 a month mortgage insurance payment, that is literally changing what your maximum buy is.
Right.
Just by that.
Right. Well, I know we're getting close to the close of the show here, and I want to we're going to start giving a realtor tip of the week, and my realtor tip of the week is a pretty basic one. Coming from brokerage side, I'm going to tell you, the very best thing you can do is have a written plan with written goals for your business. And I know a lot of firms out there that are going to say they'll sit down with an agent and they'll have them develop a plan, and they sort of work it backwards. Well, how much do you want to make? Oh, I want to make $60,000 a year. Okay, well, that's going to be X number of commissions at $3,000 a commission. That's going to be 20 commissions that you need to make. So you got to sell 20 homes. So we're going to divide that down by the month. And the biggest thing, folks, lacking in that is it's a goal of what you want to do, and most of the business plans I see are not truly a business plan. What you really need to have is an action plan, and I will post one of ours up on the website later today. But you really need to have an action plan that shows you every day what you need to do as a realtor or a sales agent to get the job done. How are you going to get all of those listings? How are you going to get all of those sales, other than just dividing it out in numbers? So that's my, broker tip of the week. Kingsley?
PA Go Loan broker tip of the week. Very simple. Know your market. Know your products. Be educated. And what I mean by that, and we're going to tie that into the show here, we spoke about VA loans. We spoke about Dauphin County bond programs. We spoke about Dream Makers, which is huge. It's not a very widely known program, but it's one of those programs that can save your buyer thousands. So if you are aware of these or need to know more about these, please message us on Real Estate Radio Guys, and we will get you information on a lot of these programs that your buyers can be taking advantage of. When you take advantage of these programs, you will be the hero to your buyer.
And thank you, everybody on Facebook, for watching us today and for sharing our video out there. You know, we're going to try one probably for you on Tuesday night, maybe this week, and get a show out to you. But we appreciate you watching. So it's real questions,
real people,
real answers.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Have a great week.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Radio Guy with real estate broker John Rainville. Listen each week at this time and learn all about buying and selling, mortgages, market conditions, property maintenance, and much more. It's brought to you by GSF Mortgage Corporation, EnviroQuest Inspections, and SearchHomesInPA.com. It's the Real Estate Radio Guy, Saturday mornings at 8 on Oldies 102.9 and AM 960 WHYL.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle.
WHYL. Joe, Ricky, and Bryce, good time oldies. WHYL. From the
from the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle.